What's up, guys and gals? I'm your host, Mike P of the FPC Virtual Channel, and you're tuning into a really dope sculpting tool. This is known as SculptGL by Stephanie Giner. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce her name, but this website is Stephanie Giner. So StephanieGiner.com/SculptGL. I'll put the link in the bottom of this video's description area to get to it. So y'all folks can test drive this thing. And I am not a 3D artist, not even close. And I was able to create this. I have no idea what it is, to tell you the truth. It's a creation that just came to me just playing around, pulling differing contours of a sphere, and I didn't know it was going to come out to look like this. It kind of looks like a dragon head, but not even a dragon. It looks really realistic and it looks amazing. I want to turn this into something else, but definitely to use this head that I created. Now what I want to do is save it as a SculptGL file so I don't lose it, because my computer sometimes does freeze. So I'm going to save it, and now it's saved to my actual web browser. If y'all folks want to get this tool, definitely I highly recommend for you to go for it. It's on the web, so it's not something you have to download on your computer, and that really does change the game dramatically. How I found it, I was on Sketchfab and it kind of recommended this tool, I believe. That's how I found it, and it is just amazing. I found it last week, but for some reason I did not go back to it until I started searching like 3D models online. I found the link to like the top 15 3D models online, and I went to a web page that basically showcased that person's top, not the top overall, but the top based on that particular person's user preferences and what they choose to use. So talking about user preferences, that's something that I got from Blender. And I recently started out on Blender, so it is something that is going to be becoming pronounced on my channel. Y'all folks will see much more of Blender. And what I'm trying to do right now, I'm just trying to rename this. So I'm going to call it Drago head, something like that. I don't know. It's not a dragon, but it does kind of resemble somewhat of a dragon to some degree. But it could look like more like one of those Komodo dragons or something like that. I don't even know how to pronounce or how to spell Komodo dragon, but it kind of looks like that. And I got some weird stuff going on back here, which I have to do a little smoothing to fix that part. So if y'all folks never did anything dealing with 3D sculpting, this will definitely shock you to some degree as to what you can do with your web browser. And as you can see, I have a good amount of stuff that I have to work on with it. So far, so good. So you can turn a sphere into an actual head. Now what I did, I used these tools over here. They have a little toolbox kind of thing on the side, on the upper right corner. It says tool. You click this little down arrow and you can change from brush to inflate to twist to smooth. Smooth will allow you to get rid of a lot of the rough edges. If you have things like this that's really getting crazy, you can click it and it fixes those errors. So the reason why those errors occur is mainly because of the mesh. The mesh is getting out of whack. So if you look at the actual wireframe, you can check the wireframe, I believe. I think I did that before. And you can see what it is that you're creating. I have the Symmetry activated, so if y'all folks are not into 3D yet and you're just getting into 3D modeling, Symmetry basically, you should know that by now if you're looking up 3D. Pretty much it allows you to build symmetrical shapes, meaning from one side it will match identically on the other side. That's how I was able to build this, or sculpt it I should say, and for it to end up looking this way. I did a whole bunch of weird twists and pulls and all of a sudden I got this kind of a shape. I started out with like a knot. I tried to make this look like a knot in front of the face portion or the frontal portion of the actual sphere, and then it just turned into this facial shape when I pulled it. I literally pulled the whole entire area using drag. So when you grab drag, you can pull it, and it's pretty interesting what you can come out with. Now I can actually paint this if I wanted to. They have a paintbrush, so you go to paint, and then it gives you multiple options to do the painting, and it gives you a little color palette from the albedo option here. So I don't know how to use it. I have to play with it to be able to manipulate and see what I can do. But so far this is all I got. I'm not going to talk too much about this tool, but I'm definitely going to play around with it and try to make more videos for 3D sculpting. And what actually motivated me to get back into 3D sculpting, which is something that I started doing when I first got into 3D, which was about a year and a half ago or so. Actually, I got into 3D more like, is it 2 years ago, I think? 2016? No. 2000, yeah, it was in 2016, around a year and a half ago or so. But I got into Adobe Dimension back last year around this time. So was it the end of 2016? It was the end of 2016 when I got into Adobe Dimension. I'm not really sure. I forget. I got to go back to my YouTube channel to check it out. But I was watching on YouTube. It wasn't this video. This is a video about Houdini. Let me go to my YouTube channel real quick. I'm just trying to brainstorm up some stuff to find in my mind where certain things were referenced from. So we go back to history, and this is the video that I was watching from the Boro Dante channel. It's a Blender actual sculpting video, and it's about Blender 2.8. So I'll put the link to this video in the description area of this video, so y'all folks can try and check that out. But he didn't go too far in depth with 3D sculpting using it, but he did something really unique in it that I thought 2.8 version 2.8 will be a game changer with this part, with that particular aspect and that element of what he was able to do. So it would behoove you to check it out and try it out. One thing I wanted to do is show y'all folks some cool stuff that I was playing with besides 3D sculpting, and this is a little throw-in for y'all folks who maybe you're into game creation and stuff like this. I'm gonna make another video about this right after this video, but I want y'all folks to check out this animation. So I've been getting into 3D animation as well, and trying to be able to build my own 3D assets basically. So I'm running this off of Windows Movie Maker, Windows, the Movie Maker video player thing that plays MP4 files for videos. So it is a really, really dope tool. The tool that I made it from is known as MagicaVoxel. This tool is just mind-blowing. What you can do, the differing elements that are at bay and at play. It has its own render engine, all kinds of different stuff. So check this out. Try it, play around with it, look up on YouTube for videos. I'm not going to have my videos up right away. It's just going to be one video. I have it launched on my channel for now. I'm going to be doing more videos on this in terms of the animations and all that stuff and things that I've been able to figure out how to do. Just doing research and playing around. I found this about a week ago as well, and it was mind-blowing. So let me get back to the 3D sculpting. I just wanted to throw that in there for y'all folks who chose to watch my video. And I'm just going through exploring many different options that I have available for 3D and for 3D art / 3D creation. As a student, I'm more of a student. I'm not an actual 3D artist yet. I don't consider myself to be that. And I would say that as long as I feel I'm not that great at it. So let's go to save. I'm going to save this object save this sculpt as an object file. And I just want to see what it will do on Blender. So we're going to save. And we'll go in here and we'll rename it. Let's go back and rename it, and we're gonna call this one let's see, the other one, what did I call it? Drago head. Drago head. There we go. So we got Drago head SGL. We're going to copy both of these, or let's just cut it. And we're going to bring it into my 3D models or 3D object files. And this tool is SculptGL. So we have to go to the SculptGL folder that I created, different stuff, and do paste. So here we go. Now we got our first 3D model off of that sculpt, and we're going to move it into Blender. What I'm using here is Blender 2.8. This is Alpha 2 version. I was going to pretty much try to move in that MagicaVoxel character, but I'll do that, like I said, in the next video after this, because I want to do 2 videos a day. Hopefully I'll try to get 2 videos created a day, and then I have to edit it down and eventually launch them on my channel, create an archive for it, stuff like that. So I like to do that kind of stuff. If y'all folks are into 3D anything and you're trying to build up an archive of video footage, is really something that I recommend for y'all folks to do. Just try to archive stuff, and eventually you'll be able to launch video after video over time. That's one of the tips for those who are into YouTube videos. Maybe you're into how-to videos, or you're trying to get into the arena of creating how-to videos. It's definitely something that is lucrative, and it can help you to actually earn something because you're helping people around the planet. And definitely by creating videos like that, you're creating fair use type videos. So let's go with wavefront object. We're going to import through Blender. If y'all folks don't know Blender, let me know in the video's description area, and I'll try to offer up some tutorials on how to make it work out for you, like how to get started, things like that. And it's not going to be coming from an expert / guru perspective based on my actual videos. Like I said, I'm a student into this 3D art arena, so it's going to come from a learner's perspective. So I'm basically going to be showing y'all folks from what I learned, not what I'm professed at and what I'm really great at. It did not work. It probably has too many polygons. It's probably way too high poly for it to go through. Maybe I have to use the retopology option that they have on it. Let's see, it has verts. It has 106,000 verts and 106,000 faces. So one thing about sculpting in 3D is keep in mind that you're going to have tons of these bad boys, and in order to fix that problem you have to go to Topology, and definitely don't subdivide. Instead you want to remesh it, and you want to bring the mesh down. Let's see, rendering. They have a render engine here too, which I don't know how to use, but I'll figure out how to use that. Let's go to wireframe. Let's see how the wireframe looks. A wireframe basically will give you all of the polygon details, and these are the polygons here that you see, all these little shapes. So that's how I was able to get this mesh design. I wish I can figure out this topology 100%, but let's go with resolution, bring it up to 300, and we're going to remesh this, relax topology, and let's see what it does. Looks like it's working, and what it did is it multiplied. Wow, now we got 207. That's not good. So now it's much more detailed. It looks even more intense, and that isn't right. That's not what I wanted. So I want to go back. Let's see, clear scene, add. Let's go to history. We're going to undo, and what we want to do instead, voxel remeshing. Oh, look at that, they got voxel over here. Manifold tries, relax topology, activated no quads. Let's try that. I want to try to bring down the mesh. Subdivision. linear subdivision. Let's see. Let's try. Wow, look at that. Reverse. Sorry, it's not possible to reverse this mesh. The mesh is not a product of a loop camel subdivision surface on a manifold mesh. Okay. How about we bring the resolution down? Let's see what it does now. Ah, look at that. So now it's much low poly. So you have to bring the resolution down if you want to go with fixing the topology. So we're going to go with a lower resolution, remesh, and let's see what it does now. Now it brought it down to 53 vertices and 107,000 faces. That is not bad. The benefits of doing this is when I bring it over to Blender, I can actually retopologize it on Blender with individual vertices. I can recreate the vertices over it and just use the contour of the sculpt, which basically is retopologizing. I don't think this is retopology here. This is just topology itself. So you can go in and play around and manipulate. Let's see, voxel. It says voxel remeshing. Relax topology. Dynamic. Let's see if I go up in scale with that. And then let's go with linear subdivision. Let's go with remesh. Oh, that created a hole. Okay, so we're going to go back to history and undo that. That didn't do too good. Thin surface front vertex only. That's paint. Let's try to paint some stuff. Whoa. Look at that. That's interesting. Now how do you paint it? Material, pick a color. Let's see. That's not bad. I like that one. So how do you apply the paint? That's the question. Sculpting and painting. Paint all. There we go. So you got to hit paint all, and then it goes in and tries to paint it. Interesting. How about we use this? Oh, look at that. That's pretty dope. And you can go in and just paint certain portions of it. Wow, so this is like texture painting. Pretty dope. I like that. So you can go in and just paint certain portions that you want to paint, and then you, I guess, prepare it for other phases of your 3D art design. Let's go in and then change that color a little bit. See that? And then, wow, this is pretty dope. I like that. I like that you can do this. Interesting. I've done it with Sculptress, but never with anything like this. Interesting. Wow. So let's go and change to like a sky blue color. And let's change that back. Okay. How do you change the size of the paintbrush? Oh, you got to go with the radius that's smaller. Okay, I see this. All right, that's pretty dope. So intensity, you can bring that down, and then let's go a little bit harsher with that color. And what we're gonna do is increase the radius a little bit, like so. Nice. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Alright. Now it's looking like something. And you can paint the rest of it how you see fit. Let's go in and then paint the rest like so. Interesting. This is pretty interesting. To increase the 3D effect, you basically, like the look and appeal, you basically go in and then try to highlight certain details, contours how you see fit, and it should bring out more of the 3D effect. If you know the basics of drawing and art, you probably can go even stronger with your paint effects. I'm pretty decent at art. I'm not the best, but to become a 3D artist, though, it's going to definitely take me some time to learn. And I'm using my computer, by the way. This is a Windows 10. Windows 10 design. Look at that. That is pretty crazy. Profound. Wow. And I don't know if I can get a dope render, but this looks pretty good for it being on my computer. Look at that, man. That is way exceptional for me. Background, let's see, we can import a background if we want. We can fill it. Camera, extra UI, let's see, overall, look at that, you can change up the UI. That's pretty cool. Resolution, raise the bar on a resolution. Let's background. I wish I can get rid of that grid. Show grid. There we go. We got rid of the grid. And why is it fill? What is this fill thing? Let's see. Darken selection. Unselected. Show contour. Oh, that's interesting. Show mirror line. And let's go and save this. We're going to save this. We're going to call it something. Let's right click, containing folder, open. Sorry that I went so long. I'm like 20 something minutes right now, but I'm enjoying this process. This is pretty dope. Drago. Let's call it Drago head 1. And whoa, where did it go? It went up to the top. Sorry about that, folks. Gonna have to find it up here. It's alphanumeric in terms of your folders, your computer folders, so you have to find it if you change the name like I did and then totally misplace it. So mine is DR Drago right here, Drago head SGL. We're gonna cut that and we're gonna bring it into 3D models folder or 3D objects folder for SculptGL. There we go. Paste, and that project is saved. Let's see if I can get it on Blender with this many vertices and faces. Let's see. Save, and let's save that. It might be able to get onto Blender. I'm not sure. This part is a little dark. I probably want to brighten this part up a little bit. I like this little dot that I have there. The dot is interesting. And the one on the chin right there too. So I don't know how the render works. There's a render engine here somehow. Rendering, look at this. So curvature, filmic tone mapping. Let's hit that. Oh, okay, so it's based on what you see in the screen. It's already rendered controlled based on what you see. Skin, notice it's red clay. Let's try these. Oh, look at that. You can play around with this stuff, manipulate. That's the skin texture. For matte cap, let's go with pearl. Aha, I like that. That's dope. That looks really, really good. If I can change the background, actually I can go to import, and this is going to come from my computer, and all I got to do is just get a cool background that I want to build it into. Let's see what I want to put on there. So not my renders. Let's go to pictures and then go to backgrounds that I have, and maybe put it in a water scene. I don't know. Open. And there we go. It's in a water scene. It looks like an aquatic animal like this. Pretty crazy. So you can play with your renders and your backgrounds, and you never know, man. You can surprise yourself just with this tool. Scene. Let's see. Background. Let's go to import a different one. Let's just put this abstract background in there. That's not bad, but it's not a high quality one. Let's reset. Let's put in this one. You really need like a nature background though. For this particular type of model, you're gonna need a nature background for sure. So let's try something else. Skin. Let's try green. Whoa, that looks intense. What I do need is a better lighting though, because the lighting isn't that great. Matte cap. Let's go to PBR. PBR, I probably have to. Oh shoot, that is dope. That's dope. Alright, so I put in PBR and look what it did. That is pretty nice. That's the footprint. This is glazed patio. Let's see, St. Nicholas Church. Wow. Now, yeah, that is pretty dope. Look at that. So, depending on what kind of materials and textures you use, you can get a much better render, obviously. I want to finish the back side of this thing that I created, but I'm not going to be able to do it at this very moment because, like I said, I wanted to go over and play around with Blender. So let's go to Blender and try to merge that into Blender 2.78. or 2.8 I should say. So we're gonna go to import. Let's see if it works this time. Wait for an object. SculptG. Let's go back to the SculptGL, and it should be in there. Oh, the reason why it's not in there, I didn't actually send it. Silly me. So I'm gonna go to File, Save Object, OBJ, whatever, and then open up the download, rename this thing. So we'll call it Drago Head 1. Right click, cut it, send it back to the Drago bad boy. Let's go over here and hop around. 3D objects, SculptGL. Where's it at? Where's the... There we go. And right click and paste. Now it should be able to pop up on Blender. Here we go. SculptGL, where we at? SculptGL, Drago Head 1, import. It may work this time. No, it's not working. So the previous version of Blender, OBJ files, was working in terms of Blender 2.78. So that's kind of sucky because I just now got it updated, and I thought it was going to bring me better functionality, but it actually got worse. But it's all good because Blender 2.2 Blender 2.8 is actually not in its full version, so I'm going to go back to Blender 2.79b, and until we get that full release, we won't be able to manipulate on Blender 2.8. I keep saying 2.7, so 2.8. But in 2.79b, I can definitely do it. So let's see what this does. It should give me the ability to make this thing work. Just waiting some time for Blender to come up. It says not responding. I'll pause the video and I'll be right back. Alright, so it's done, and let's go and try to commit to this thing. Your Blender may not show up this way how I got it set. I got two light sources, and I have a camera. Let's go to File, go to Import, and go to Wavefront OBJ. And we're going to go find that 3D object. Should be in the SculptGL folder. And then Drago Head 1. Import OBJ. Let's see what it does. Now it's huge. So we're going to hit the S key on the keyboard, and then we're going to scale that bad boy down to size. Okay. And it's upside down. So we're going to do rotate, and try to rotate it to the right levels, and then we're going to rotate again in the Y direction. Nope, rotate in the X direction. Hit the R key and the X key on the keyboard, and then we're going to pull it up. Now we're going to rotate in the Z direction, so R key on the keyboard, Z, and here we go. Bad boy is done. And we're going to hit the 0 key on a number pad to zoom in. Let's zoom out by hitting it again. And now we're going to click the camera and back the camera up so we can get a good render. And actually that wasn't good, so Control Z. I went in the wrong direction. It's supposed to go on the red axis. And now let's check it out. There we go. So there goes the scope on it. Pretty good scope. I'm going to go to Render Image. And let's see what it looks like. Now my computer is going to bug out, obviously, because my computer is a bug out computer. It's going to get kind of hot and probably freeze. But it's worth it to see this thing. Hopefully I don't lose the footage. I want to see the render, see what it looks like. There's no colors on it because it doesn't look like the OBJ file is outputted with color textures. The sculpting on there and the coloring is probably somewhat separate when it comes to the export, but it does look really good. As you can see, the details is pretty high quality. I just got to move the lamp in the right direction. So let's back out. The lamp is down here, which is not giving me a good lighting scenario. So let's pull the lamp out and move it in a little bit closer to the face. Pull it up, and I might want to scale it down a little bit more. That way the lamp can cover most of the details. You can highlight the details of the face. Okay, so what I got to do is move this camera back in a little bit better, because I scaled it and then move it down a little. And hit the 0 key on the number pad, and then we're just going to use the left click mouse button in this area while this is highlighted yellow, the box which basically represents the camera, and then just move the camera in place. This is basically a cool way to navigate the camera. We're going to hit the 0 key on the number pad. Well, actually we have to hit the left click mouse button one time, activate it again. It turns white when you left click and you move it. So you got to left click again to back out, and hit the 0 key to back out of that. And we're going to drag the camera back a little bit, do the 0 key again. So now we can see. Now what we have to do, go back in, and we're going to rotate, hit the R key, Z, and rotate slightly bit towards the, let's see, towards the left. And that gives a better angle on the render. And that should be good right there. Now we want this lamp, before we finish, to move it over here to just apply another additional lighting, or maybe down at the bottom towards the back of the actual character 3D model. So now we got that, and that should provide enough light. We're going to go for render, and you should see all the contours. And it's not the best render, but in a pretty decent rendering fashion. We'll see. So far, this is what I learned on Blender. Navigating, playing around, manipulating with the tool. I'm using different tutorial videos, watching tons of tutorial videos within 3 months. Actually, it's going on 3 months and a week right now that I've been playing with Blender, but I took like half a week off recently, take a break from it so I could recharge my batteries, because talking all the time, creating videos like this, it does take a toll on you. And just straining your eyes too much, watching and staring at the screen, trying to come up with different modeling concepts and stuff. So it would be wise for y'all folks who are into this stuff to just take a break every now and then. And that's what I recommend. Now you can't see all the details like I was saying, because it's not because of the lights, it's because there's no colors, so you don't get to see the fine-tuned details that well. It's just black and white. So if you want to add colors, you're gonna have to go in and do other things. Let's see, let's go to material. It's not gonna give me much. Go to texture. Now you can see a little bit more based on the texture. Materials, it doesn't have any materials in it. Let's click on it and see if I can go to edit mode. If you look at edit mode, look at how many polygons. This thing is crazy. Look how many faces and edge. It has 207,000 edges, 69,102 vertices to create what you see here. That is a lot of vertices. So I can go and try to smooth this, smooth vertex. What does that do? Does it bring it down any? No. Let's go to mesh and flip normals, snap to symmetry, proportional editing, smooth vertex. Wait, no, smooth vertex. Smooth vertex. Alright, we smoothed it down a little bit more. Let's go to object mode and let's see how it looks. A lot less details, but guess what? Look at the number of faces. 138. So it knocked out a great deal. So 138,000 faces now. And it still looks somewhat decent. It's not that bad. I got a good shape. If I wanted to, like I said, I could try to retopologize by building over it. So what I would have to do is go into edit mode, well, not sculpt mode, not vertex mode, not weight paint, not texture paint. I'll have to go to edit mode and hit the A key to deselect, and then I can start trying to build upon it. But I would have to go to solid and get off of wireframe. Looks like it's on wireframe somehow. So this is solid. How about render? That's the render. Let's go to texture, material. Why does it have all these vertices showing? I don't know. I guess because it's in edit mode. Let's go to object mode. Maybe we could do it in object mode. I don't think we can though. Even though we're in edit mode, it shouldn't be showing all of this. But I guess that's what it's doing. Wireframe. Alright, wireframe is a little different. That's what it is. So I'm thinking wireframe should show up. Highlighted. You have to click and then highlight these to bring up the wireframe. So let's go out of this. Hit the A key. Go to object mode. And there goes the wireframe in object mode. Okay. So what we'll do is go to material. And I want to add some sort of a texture to this. So we're going to go to the materials, add a new material, and we'll go with adding a texture. And we'll go to, let's go to pictures and just go with something randomly. Artwork. Let's go to maybe we can add a flower to it. I just want to come up with some kind of texture. I don't care. Abstract. Let's go with the abstract background. Open. And then we'll try to connect the texture. So how you do that, you have to get the, let's go here, go to the, not the node editor, the UV image editor, and we have to select from here, get the abstract image. Oh, that was the render image, my bad. Abstract, there we go. And go to preview, material. Didn't I put in that material? Diffuse. I don't have node set up. So this is not a node set up. What is going on? Let's see. View. Paint. Mask. Let's go to paint. Texture painting. Let's go to new. For texture here, this is the texture option. And go to new. Actually, let's select the abstract texture. And then go to texture paint. There we go. And oh, we're in cycles. We got to go to Blender render. That's why it didn't work. Because we was in cycles. I didn't realize that. So let's go back to object mode, go to texture paint, then go here, and go here, choose the material, there we go, 0, and from that material we will add, remove this, I'm going to add, and then put in this one. Let me switch over here and look for the other abstract. I'm going to choose that one. Oh, we choose this one. Look at that. Alright, there we go. Now this bad boy has the texture. Alright. So I just wanted to play around and see what I could do. Let's go to object mode and let's go to render this bad boy. So hit the F12 button on the keyboard and we should be able to render it. Is that the render button? No, I hit the F8. My bad. Back out of that. F12. There we go. Now you can see the render. It is looking pretty dope. I like that. It rendered it pretty fast too. The reason being is because I have it set. Let's see the render samples. How many samples am I rendering at? Let's see. Sample. Where is it? This is dimensions. Sample blur. We're in the Blender internal, but I don't see samples. Let's back this out. Drop this down to 3D view. Actually, not 3D view. Timeline. Let's bring it to the timeline how it started, and then bring this down. Why is it looking like that? I don't know. Meaning, why can't I change the samples? Performance, shading. Let's back this out. This is the render. We got the image editor, dimensions, full sample. What about that? What's that full sample? I don't know. I can't tell what is going on here because I can't find it. Where is the samples option? Bake. Let's go to freestyle. Let's see what the freestyle does. And let's render this bad boy. It's not doing nothing. There we go. The freestyle puts an outline, basically. Pretty dope outline looking thing, and that's a really nice render actually. Let's back this out. That's the best I can get for now. I can do a little bit better. Let's go to rotate. Let's go in the X direction. Rotate in the Y. There we go. And zoom in closer, I guess. Alright, let's go for a render of that. Let's see what that looks like. Not bad. Not too bad, folks. So, you know, you can play around with this stuff. I would have to play around a little bit further to do the retopology and all that stuff because I haven't really done it yet, but I've seen people do it before. And to retopologize this probably will take some good time if that's what I'm going to actually go for doing. I probably don't have to do it 100% because I got the verts down and the faces down, but if I was trying to move it into some sort of a 3D tool, maybe like an animation tool besides Blender, and export it as an OBJ file, or actually export it as an FBX file, say I rigged it or whatever, then I probably would have to do that, retopologize it, because the polys are way too high, way too many polygons, and that causes issues when you're trying to do your 3D work. So let's back this out, hit the 0 key on the keyboard, and there you go. Really crazy looking design that I came up with from sculpting. And like I said, it's not working on Blender 2.8 Alpha B. Let's X this out. But it's most definitely something you can play with over here on the web version. Look at this. That looks funky. If you back it out a little bit, it looks really, really cool. All I gotta do is build the rest of the body. So that's what I'm gonna work on in my next video and try to see what kind of body I can create off of this head. I think it's gonna turn out to look really dope. It's gonna be fun. What I'll look at is anatomy of all different types of creatures and try to come up with something unique looking and see if it actually will turn out to be what I like it to look like. And then I'll change the background and probably add like a regular nature background, nature scene or whatever, and that should work for that. I wonder if I can put in HDRIs, but I don't think so. It says JPEG and PNG for image type to import as backgrounds. So definitely, like I said, check this out. You should be able to enjoy this tool off of SculptGL through StephanieGinier.com. And if you have a tablet, as you can see here, it says tablet pressure, so you can go for it playing around with your tablet and use this to adjust here, and mess around with the cameras too if you want to try different camera views. See that with your sculpting, it probably could help you. And this is reset. Cool, right? Your right click mouse basically rotates it 360 degrees. Your left click mouse is the sculpting action. If you go here and you double click with the left click mouse button and you're not on anything, it's gonna send the actual object down to a lower scale from a closer view to a low scale. See that? And then the middle mouse button will allow you to move it in a vertical and in the vertical positions of up and down and left and right in horizontal positions, or you can rotate in a circle like this. You can do that. And that's about it, man. It's really a dope tool. Adding scene stuff here, you got clear scene, add sphere, add cube, add cylinder, add torus, copy selection, delete selection, and you got extra stuff. And y'all folks saw, if you want to add this in, you'll get the things that start out with it, with the exception of the center line. The center line doesn't start out by default, or the show mirror line, I should say. Show contour, darken unselected. Those are not selected by default. Then you got show grid. Grid is selected by default. So if you don't want to hide it, there you go. And that's all I got. You got tons of different options, so you can have fun. And then you can click over here to go to Sketchfab. I don't know what that's going to do, but it's probably going to send your 3D model to Sketchfab, and maybe in Sketchfab you can do other stuff with it in terms of displaying to your friends on Sketchfab or whoever. I'm going to save this version because I like the way I set up the PBR shader, and it's pretty dope that they have a rendering engine built in, as well as the topology side of things. As you can see, it helped me to bring the faces down a great deal. And other than that, that's all I got. Oh, and the painting, yeah, the painting was pretty dope too. I wish it could bring the textures over, but it did not. For some reason, it's not bringing the textures over when you go to try to bring it over from an actual export. So whatever you're exporting. So let's see. Yeah, I didn't get any textures to come over. So other than that, that's all I got. I'm out of here. Joe 11 Peace Tall, Mike Peace signing off. I'll see y'all folks in the next videos. Like I said, I apologize for it being so long, but this was definitely a great experience to manipulate, play with, and have fun. And hopefully I can learn that retopology stuff over on Blender. Definitely whenever I get into other 3D tools, I'll learn how to do it on those tools. And hopefully I can really model something that looks dope out of this character. and I'll see you next time. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if y'all folks want to get more of my videos, and most definitely hit the bell icon if you want to get my latest videos. Other than that, I am out. Mike Pugh signing off. Peace.